charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, take it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, take it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Stop low, dance low, watch it flow on the floor. Ride the wave, music great, beat so tight, vibe feels right. Stop low, dance low, watch it flow on the floor. Ride the wave, music great, beat so tight, vibe feels right.
Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, take it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, take it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Flow, give me more, people stomping, bases pumping, let it down, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Shake the floor, give me more, people stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around.
Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, booty drop. The ground, turn around, music pumping, killer sound, limit drop, soda pop, on the move, bass drop, take a shot, hit the spot, hit the ground, turn around, music pumping, killer sounds, make it smooth, let it pop. Hit the ground, turn around, music pumping, killer sound, limit drop, soda pop, on the move, bass drop, take a shot, hit the spot, hit the ground, turn around, music pumping, killer sounds, make it smooth, let it pop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Bass drops, body rock, shake it up like any shots. Ride the wave, music great, beat so tight, vibe feels right. Sub low, dance low, watch it flow on the floor. Ride the wave, music great, beat so tight, vibe feels right.
Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Shake the flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around.
Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Shake the flow, give me more, keep it stomping, bases pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around.
Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Shake the floor, give me more, people stomping, bass pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Shake the floor, give me more, people stomping, bass pumping, let it pound, feel the ground, body shaking all around. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop. Bass charts, blow you rock, shake it up like any shots, make it smooth, let it pop, bounce it back, booty drop.
Hello, good evening. So, I put a link out there. Anybody's welcome to join panel tonight. My grandkids are screaming. My son's about to come in from work. I've been babysitting all day. So that's why I'm late. My room is an absolute disaster. If you can see it behind me, I don't know. Look, wait, I got these little lights to help with my light in here, but I got graham crackers on the floor and blankets under my table, and go ahead and judge me. What's that song? Hate costs money. Okay, anyways, so tonight what I want to go over, and if anybody wants to join panel, that's fine. I unprivated these just for this live. They will not be public. After the live, I will be privating them again. I'm going to go over 6 up, but if you remember, I said last night where I left off, I wanted to go over part 2 of the Hill Family Feud. So I'm going to let this play, and then we're going to jump right into the few clips. I got quite a few clips from the first time Elly Mae was on Six Up's panel. I have the second time she was on, but I haven't broken it up or even really fucking cared to listen to it, to be honest with you. So I need to do that. I still think it's important to go over these clips first. Let's do this. Oh, y'all hear Ziggy? She's walking the dog in the snow today. And she truly had the audacity to say that Bandit helped her get through Jim's death. Now look. She got Bandit way after Jim passed away. Not only did she get the damn dog way after Jim passed away, but she had Athena first. And I believe that was even after Jim passed away when she went to Tennessee. So I don't understand why she said that. I feel for Tiffany. But in my opinion, it feels like Ziggy's exploiting Tiffany's son's death every 2 minutes, posting something like, let the lady fucking grieve. It seems like Tiffany's allowing this to happen, but now she keeps like throwing Jim in, and that's how she got the dog. And girl, there's something fucking wrong with you, in my opinion. Please stop. We all know when you got the dog, you were already sexting with fucking Fred, you sick fuck. You were already stealing Laura's fucking man. So quit getting on here and fucking lying. You already had Fred to keep you fucking warm to get over Jim by the time you had the dog. Dumbest shit I ever heard you say.
I always thought we had a good relationship. I mean, I know, obviously I went to prison.
Right.
Shortly before that, he had his situation in Virginia, and that's kind of when our relationship changed some. But, I had thought we were still okay because, I didn't take sides on none of that. And it's very hard to be a neutral party in a situation that intense. I let him have his say, I let Julie have her say, and I didn't take sides. I found out about it when he went to jail after the fact. My sister had multiple conversations with me about what happened. My mom had several conversations with me about what happened. And after he went to jail, I went with Mom to every one of his court appearances. I was a contact with the CPS for when they could get a hold of Fred or Laura. Fred has a weird perspective of how things went down. But my sister had went to talk to Fred. I guess I need to give you a little backstory about why she went to talk to Fred to tell him she was leaving. And she had originally went up there because Laura was having some kind of lower back surgery. It was minor. I've had 2 of them and didn't need no help. But she had the baby, and at that time, Fred had custody of his oldest daughter, and then they had their daughter together and the baby. So there was 3 children plus her daughter, Laura's daughter, from before she met Fred. She would come there and stay. So evidently, Laura had a lower back surgery. She needed help. So Mom convinced my sister to go up there and help them, and they had a little camper up there. Julie stayed in the camper with her husband and her daughter. And she would, help with the baby and help, cook and clean and stuff like that. Her husband was ran off. Fred ran her husband off. That's a whole other story.
Right.
Fred, you know all about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yep.
the situation got pretty volatile.
I'm sure.
And Julie had meant to enroll her daughter from the school that they were all going to. And she had a conversation with the principal that concerned Fred's oldest daughter. And it had to do with something with drugs being taken into school. And she had enrolled her daughter and came back to the house and went in to tell Fred that the school was already aware of drugs coming from there into the school.
So yesterday, we're starting right where we left off. Yesterday, we were talking about how Chastity, Fred's oldest daughter, who's now married to a preacher who wrote the cookbook Fred found at the rehab that he brought back that was fate for Ziggy and Fred in the Summer Wells case, that told them they had to be together and be married forever because there was this cookbook his daughter wrote. That's the daughter that was arrested at school for bringing drugs to school. That's why the police came. Julie was staying on the property in a trailer. There had already been a huge fight. They had thrown Julie's husband off the trailer. Her and her daughter stayed there. Julie turns out to be the sister that took the bath salts that Fred's pewing at. Just as I said yesterday, but today, and that's in court documents. But today, Ziggy and Fred will tell you that Elly Mae's the evil sister that was on bath salts that they were pewing at. So does somebody want to tell me why they switched it to the other sister, even though in court documents it's Julie? A bit odd.
Via his daughter, and that they had already contacted CPS. And she was there to let Fred know and give him a heads up, and that she was leaving, and that she didn't want to be no part of it. She was standing there with her car keys in her hand when Fred jumped up out of bed and went off on her, put a gun to her chest. Laura was in the house. She came into the bedroom and was holding the baby and was standing right beside Julie. And Julie was hollering at Laura to get out of the room, take the baby out of the room. And she was begging Fred for her life. He turned the gun and shot into the corner, jumped back in bed and covered up.
So I didn't understand whether he was holding the gun to Laura's chest or whether he was holding it to Julie's chest, but it sounded like she said Laura. And then he pointed the gun away from her and shot it in the corner of the house. Laura ran with the baby across the street to save her and the baby. And this is the man Ziggy has living in her home that people are supporting. He's not even allowed around his own children. Well, when they were underage. Some of them still are. But Ziggy will move him into her home.
And Laura took off out the back door, and Julie took off out the front door. Julie went to the camper. Laura went to the neighbor's house. Julie called Mom and told Mom. She said, I don't know what to do. She told Mom what had happened. And she told Mom, she said, I know if I get in my car to leave, he will shoot me. While she was on the phone with Mom, Fred had got up and cut the breaker off his camper. Mom hung up and called the police and told them what was going on. And that was the only thing that she could do. And when the police came, they questioned my sister. She told them, yeah, I saw a pistol. They checked it for gunpowder residue. It had none on it. They checked her hand because Fred claimed that she was holding him at gunpoint and had shot at him. They checked her own spot, her hands for gunpowder residue. It was negative. That's why Fred was arrested. That's why Fred was charged with the charges he got. And contrary to him telling everybody he spent 5 to 7 years in prison because of that, he spent 3.5 months and got out. And while he was in jail, every court date that he had, I took Mom to him. And even the court dates that he didn't have, the CPS court date over the children, I took Mom to those also. So yeah, I was there for all of them. Front and center. The only reason Fred did not get prosecuted for attempted murder is because Julie came back to Tennessee and refused to testify against him because she knew eventually he would get out. And if he tried to kill her once, he would definitely do it again. That's why he didn't.
So Fred's sister, Karen, is telling us that Julie was terrified of Fred and knew he would get out of prison, and that's why she didn't testify against him, and he got out in 3.5 months. He didn't do time served. He got out of a lot of his charges. They seem to do that there in that area, even though that was in Virginia. And then he goes on to shoot another guy and gets out of those charges too. Maybe third time's a charm, Fred.
Do no more than 3.5 months and didn't get no more charges than what he got is because Julie did not and would not refuse to testify against him.
Right. Man Afterlife wants to know, did the CPS worker sit on Fred's lap during court?
No, there was never a time while I was there that I ever seen anything, any interaction like that. Any inmate that was brought in there for court was in shackles, and all those were segregated to a section.
They kept them separate, yeah. Like when you go to court,
yeah, they were segregated
separate.
And even I pretty much the only person that ever approached them was their counsel, and they were also guarded by officers to keep people from approaching them and to keep them from getting up and moving around or approaching. I mean, they were guarded. So no.
I told you all yesterday he stole David Bay's story. I'm going to find that clip another night, and I'm going to, not David Bay's, David Brett. Fred's been following my channel since the very beginning, since David Britt did an interview with me. Fred's been in these streets way before Ziggy came out and got him.
I didn't see that happen. It changed right after he went into jail. And, he loved me, he thanked me, spending money, put money on his books, put a deposit on his church, put money on his email. And I was awesome. When he wasn't allowed to have no contact with nobody, I drove an hour and a half to sit at a video camera in Hawkins County Jail to talk to him. So, that doesn't seem too evil to me. Because I was allowed to visit when he couldn't use a church, he couldn't use email, he couldn't use the phone, he couldn't get no video visitations from nobody else.
Right.
But family, I stopped the enabling. I said no. I didn't go with the flow. I didn't go with the bullshit. I said no. Basically, is what it all boils down to. I had already, he was sending me messages saying that he was in trouble, he needed help, he couldn't explain, don't ask questions, and stupid stuff like that. Want me to put money on his books, or want me to put money on someone else's books also, and then telling me that if you do this, I'll be good. I won't need no more. It wasn't 2 days later, he was wanting $300 more. I said, oh, no. Because out of his whole family, I'm the only one that said no.
So on top of Ziggy grifting, on top of all the people that was sending him money, including Ryan Finds Truth for an interview that he never got with Fred in jail, Elly Mae was sending him money, sending other people money, writing him on other chirps. Pay attention. She was helping Fred to break the jail rules just as much as Ziggy was. Her and Fred were close while Fred was in jail, but now he hates her. she's on 6-ups. But this is a real fight, y'all. Okay.
That's a lie. No, that's a lie. No, yet again, that's a lie. Because I'm pointing out that he's telling bullshit stories.
Outside.
Someone sent me, I didn't mean to talk over.
You're good.
Someone sent me a screenshot of Fred's friend list on Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
And that's his new Facebook. They also sent me a screenshot of his old Facebook friend list. And they are almost identical.
Psst. She has the same friends. You wouldn't fucking believe it. She's friends with the same people. And then Ziggy covered one night, and we're going to go over it, another guy she's friends with. I find that one really fucking interesting. Maybe Ziggy could go over it again. Hey, Ziggy, since you and Karen really don't like each other, who was that guy? I have to go back. I don't remember. But there was a guy that's on the Megan's Law list and did all these things to women. And it's quite fucking strange. It almost looks like he's a human trafficker. Right? Let's talk about that guy, Elly Mae. We'll save that one for another night.
That worries me. Because you do, as a person in recovery, you do have to change your places, your people, your whole life.
Last time I went,
he was messaging me wanting phone numbers, and he kept saying, "Please, I need money on books. I'm in trouble. I need you to put money on this account." Well, it wasn't just one account; it was 2 or 3 different accounts, but one that kept coming up regular. And I flat out, I told him no. I said, "I done told you when I put that other on your books." I said, "Julie put money on your books, and I sent money to just."
So Julie was putting money on the books. Now she's going to send money to somebody. So Fred was getting an abundance of money while he was in prison, and he was having people send money to other people. Now, why is that? You have to ask yourself, why are you sneaking around to send other people money? What is it Fred owes other people money for in jail? Or is it for their candy fund? Or is he buying cigarettes or drugs? Is somebody making moonshine? Or anybody ever see like the oranges? You can ferment oranges and make prison alcohol. Fred, why are you breaking jail rules? Not only for your sister, but Ziggy's doing the same thing. And there's a clip where Laura says, "I wish he hadn't," when talking about a message in the chirp with Ziggy. Anybody remember that?
Justin Figgins, the man you told me to send money to, and you told me that solved the problem, whatever it was, and you would be good until you got out. And I told you then that I couldn't afford to do that, even then, much less to keep doing it. I let him know when I gave it to him the first time that I couldn't afford to do it. That Julie couldn't afford to do it. He was messaging me saying, "Can you do this?" Because Julie won't answer my calls. Julie won't answer my messages. Julie won't reply to me. And as soon as I put money on his books, as soon as I put money on his church, as soon as I put money on Justin Figgins' books, I love you. At least I know somebody out there cares for me. And then he sends me another message saying, "Oh yeah, you remember how he told that I was begging to be his power of attorney?" As a matter of fact, he sent me a message asking me to be his power of attorney because he didn't trust Laura with his money. The more you enable somebody, the more they expect you to enable their bullshit, and it never stops. But as soon as I told him no, and I sent him a long message explaining to him, the reality of the situation, I was an evil bitch from hell. That's when I told him, I cannot afford, I have bills to pay.
Right.
I'm not going to take my bill money to give you in jail for whatever bullshit you're doing in jail. Yeah, I turned into the evil bitch real quick as soon as I said no. Well, that's just like when he went to jail in Sullivan County. Mom gave Laura $75. That's all the cash that she had on her. His bond was $116. She gave Laura $75 cash and said, "Surely God can come up with $30, $40, whatever." No, she sure didn't. Fred was in there for 3 days, and the whole time he was in there, Laura was on the phone with Ziggy trying to hustle Ziggy out of $700 to $900 bond money, knowing damn well that it was only 100. Well, it was his bond was 100.
Sorry, I stepped away, hubbies. Hey, Paula, how are you today, honey? So, if you hear, she just said how now Fred no longer has power of attorney and it gets shifted because the parents passed away. So, he's asking Elly Mae to take over power of attorney. So, did he give Ziggy power of attorney? Is Ziggy in charge of Fred's money? I'm curious.
$100 plus taxes and fees and all that. It was $116. And I do have the receipt for that. I haven't sent it to you, but I do have it. He was in there for 3 days while Laura was at, well, I mean, she was
doing her thing.
doing her thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Talking about money. Let's talk.
Hi.
Hey, Noel, it's been a while.
How are you? Yes, it's been a long time. What are we talking about?
Six Up and Ziggy. How are you doing?
Good. And what is this?
This is Fred Hill's sister, Karen Elliott, where she's telling them about Fred's family. And she's talking about her relationship with Fred when Fred was in jail, how she was sending Fred and other inmates money for Fred.
So I don't understand. I kind of understand, but
she was putting money on other people's books, like in other people's names.
yes.
Which is breaking the jail rules. You're not allowed to do that. And she was writing Fred on other people's chirrups, which is a tablet you can rent while you're in jail to write your loved ones. And Fred's chirrup was taken away. So what he had done was he was writing people in other chirrups, and I believe paying them to and paying them to use their chirrups, amongst other things. Probably he could have been buying alcohol, or it could have been for commissary, or to stop people from beating them up, or whatever it is. It's something that's not permitted in any jail. So Fred was breaking jailhouse rules.
And how do we know each other? Sorry, my mind. I need to get.
Who, you and I?
Yes.
I don't know. You popped up on my panel one night and sat there, and you came up another time, and now this is your third time, and then I seen you on another panel way later. I can't remember.
Yes. Which one?
Trying to remember. Was it Miss Chewy, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably Miss Chewy.
And Mrs. Ann, I miss her.
Yeah, that's sad, huh?
Yeah, so how did she know that she passed away? I'm sorry.
You know what? I really don't know. I haven't paid much attention to it. I guess it just happened. I don't even really remember who Miss Ann is. I just know it's another loss in the community, just like Miss Christine.
Miss Christine. Do I know her, Miss Christine?
She used to hang around with Jenkies and Miss Daisy. Do you know who they?
Yes.
Yeah, she would be on their panels a lot. She was
Discord or no? Do you have one? No.
I don't do Discord, honey. I don't even know how to work it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to use it for AI one time. I signed up for it, and I tried to sign up with Wombo Dream, and it just looks like Chinese to me. I just do not understand it at all.
Where's all these people are coming in shortly or no?
I don't know. Hopefully, Paula's here. Say hi to Paula. She's a good sub.
Paula?
Noelle's a really nice girl that this is the third time she's popped on my panel. She makes me
Third.
laugh. Third, yeah. But
And
anyway,
I wanted to get back to this video.
yeah, I'm gonna put the video back on and take you down. Thank you for coming up.
You're very welcome. Yes.
I'm glad you've come up again and that you're here.
Yes.
So
Can you subscribe to me?
absolutely. Can you put your link in my chat or in one of my comments, and I will definitely
And in your comments?
And I'll share it in my, if you go to my community post and put it in any post in my community post, I'll share it in here so everybody.
That's mine. Look.
Okay. Everybody sub up the Stinky 5963.
Sticky N 5963, yes.
All right. And I'll sub up to you as soon as my live's over, okay?
Thank you.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Good night. Nice to talk to you.
You too.
Yes, it is.
She's a sweetheart. Okay, guys.
They've accused Elly numerous times of, because Elly Karen was one of the people that went there, but Elly didn't go alone. You already heard her say she went with the other sister. Did you find $27,000, Karen?
No, I sure didn't.
Do you think that your brother had $27,000 anywhere when he was texting things like this? This is the receipt, guys. Get it done. That is the subject that he puts in it. Get it done. Thank you for everything you have done. I'm grateful to have someone out there that cares. I need to put you power of attorney over my check so I can get it added to my account. By the way, I got my motion of discovery. Jeff Everly making things like this. This is the receipt, guys. Get it done. That is the subject.
$30, $40, whatever. No, she sure didn't. Fred was in there for 3 days, and the whole time he was in there, Laura was on the phone with Ziggy trying to hustle Ziggy out of $7,900 bond money, knowing damn well that it was only $100. Well, it was his bond was $100 plus taxes and fees and all that. It was $116. And I do have the receipt for that. I haven't sent it to you, but I do have it. He was in there for 3 days while Laura was at. Well, I mean, she was
doing her thing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, talking about money, let's talk. You know that they've accused Elly numerous times of, because Elly Karen was one of the people that went there, but Elly didn't go alone. You already heard her say she went with the other sister. Did you find $27,000, Karen?
No, I sure didn't.
Do you think that your
Fred has accused Karen of stealing $27,000 from him. I'm going to interrupt this just for a minute. I believe it is in this small amount of text that I did have saved. My dog's pounding at the door. Give me a minute. Milo. You guys can... I believe there's a little more to this. But now she's saying that Fred accused her of finding a drug stash. Now, something that bothers me, and Jody Sue did come on my panel and dispute it, but something that bothers me is Jody Sue has made comments, and I'll show them another night. I've showed them before. You can go through my lives, just type Jody Sue, and I'm sure it'll come up somewhere along the lines. Hi. My mic's, he's on. My mic's on. Okay. So Jody Sue has stated things like Andy found big bags of meth and that it's way more than somebody would find a normal human. I don't understand how he would find these big bags of meth. Is it a possibility that Andy stole something from Fred? And Fred owed somebody money for it. If I get a chance, because we got a bunch of videos to go through, I'll look for that clip and show it before the night's over, because I know what it looks like, and I probably have a video of it. A couple of them, actually, because I know I've covered it a few times, because she also talks about Andy having coke in the bay at work. And Andy's strung out and sitting on her, and she can tell he's losing weight as he's beating on her. And that his behavior has changed leading up to Summer going missing over the last year. And he was spending more time over at Dawn's house. Oh, the things Jody Sue has said. We'll go over those another night, but let's finish these messages and get back to that other video. Hold on. I mean, really, if I was such a piece of shit, how come I was the only one that would go bond him out of jail when he went for misdemeanor crap, meaning the boots? None of his buddies and Laura Shore's heck didn't even go, even though she was getting the money too. As a matter of fact, Laura was on the phone with Ziggy, she meant Ziggy, while she was doing a live trying to hustle her out of 900 at the same time. I was at the jail bonding Fred out. For the boots. After Fred was transferred to Hawkins County, he was bailed out, and that's when he went to the home. Ziggy didn't tell you about that. Oh boy, she leaves a lot of shit out. But Laura was on the panel in Glenda Head's house, accusing Glenda Head of stealing money from her while Laura went to jail. So all this was transpiring at the same time. I believe they got marriage license. I believe they got married before a preacher, but that still don't make them legal if she's married to green card guy. She says that she's not, but I've seen the divorce papers. Have you? What if Ziggy's still being paid for being married to the green card guy? We don't even know green card guy's name. Karen's right. Here. I don't like the bitch, but she's right here. Mom told me something about Laura that has stuck with me and really bothered me. Mom told me about 3 months after Summer went missing, they were still talking about it on a local news station. And it had come up on the news, and Laura made the comment and said, "Oh my God, I wish they would shut the fucking up about that little girl. I'm sick of hearing it." She also had a strange reaction to Cotton's death. That's nothing. That's just an email I sent to Fred's house because, guys, do y'all remember how Fred was out there saying he was giving the residents their medication? And then he went to Kathy Gordon's, and it seemed like he ran away from the rehab center. He didn't go back for a long time. Just odd shit, man. Okay. Let's finish the second video up.
Do you think that your brother had $27,000 anywhere when he was texting things like this? This is the receipt, guys. Get it done. That is the subject that he puts in it. Get it done. Thank you for everything you have done. I'm grateful to have someone out there that cares. I need to put you power of attorney over my check so I can get it added to my account. By the way, I got my motion of discovery. Jeff Everly made 2 buys in Pat Wilcox. I go to court August 31st. Thanks again. I got that. Can you send me Kayla Matthews' number and whatever numbers you can? Matt Keith's number. He owes for Saul, but got to go. Love you more than life, sis. Love, Fred.
Does it sound like he loves me more than life?
I wonder who is Kalia Matthews. Is that a female?
That's where, to the best of my knowledge, actually Laura was staying with after Fred went to jail.
Oh, gotcha.
The last time I spoke to Fred.
So there was a Kalia Matthews they're saying Laura stayed with after Fred went to jail. It's possible, but when she got out of jail, she stayed with Glenda Head and Brandon Clark. And if you remember, Ziggy accused her of having sex with, I don't know why I'm spelling it, having fucking sex with Brandon Clark. But then she started dating the Bernard guy, and Jody Sue was reporting on that, seeing her at the gas station. And now she's married to some guy. She moves fast, but I hope the best for Laura. But some of the things Karen said is odd to me, just like some of the things they say is odd. I don't understand the switch between the two sisters when Julie's the one documented on the court paperwork.
He sent me a text message when he got out of rehab and told me that we needed to have a serious talk and that he was going to come to my job or my home. And I messaged him back and I told him he was not welcome at either. And that was his only warning, not to contact me again, not to come to my home, not to come to my work, to leave me alone, that he had done enough. Yeah, because when I told him to stop, he sent me another message saying something about, well, do I have your permission to show some kind of video footage of something? And I don't even know what he's talking about.
He doesn't video footage on what?
I have no idea.
This dude, look.
And of course, I didn't even respond.
Yeah, well, what would be the point? I mean,
there isn't one. They have come out and accused me of that broke my heart was them accusing me of killing my first husband. They exploited one of the most vulnerable times of my life. one of the most devastating times of my life. And Fred don't even know the whole situation. If he was a brother to me, even back then in 1997, when my first husband blew his head off in front of me and my children, and had told all of his co-workers that he was going to come home and do that. And there is a stack of statements. My first husband was a EMS student. He told his instructor and the other people in his class that he was going to kill himself.
I'm so sorry.
He was a volunteer firefighter. He told his fellow firefighters that he was going to kill himself. He worked for BFI. He told his co-workers that he was going to kill himself. And he did this for weeks, and nobody did anything to help him, to stop him. There are at least 15 different statements that he was going to do this. And when he did, his intentions were to kill me and my children and himself, and I barely survived that. And he exploited that and accused me of murdering my husband. Who does this shit? Oh, I know he does. I bet he looks out that window, looks out that front door, and in his soul hurts because he does not see a mountain. I know my brother. I know he is so homesick right now that there are no words to explain the feeling in his heart, in the pit of his stomach, every time he walks to the DG instead of up in the mountain. You can't say that. You can't say nothing about it, or be a voice of opposition and say, Ziggy, don't disrespect my dead parents. Can't even say that, because God forbid if he does. Look what happened to Jim, where he was a voice of opposition.
Why do you think
I see him looking for his eyes. People have sent me screenshots of Fred walking to Dollar General holding a little fluffy dog. And I've seen the look in his eyes. And he is so homesick he could throw up. I was convicted of selling 2 Nortab pens in an accommodation charge for 1 Clemson and conspiracy to be an thief. And then I got a non-violent felony weapons charge for having a gun in the house before I was ever convicted of anything, and still served time over that. I got 15 years and pulled 5 of it.
I heard Ziggy say that you have fraud on your record. Do you have fraud on your record?
Well, no, I do not. But considering it's public record and she pulled my record, it should be on there, shouldn't it? If she's saying I have it, but I've never been convicted of fraud. She must be talking about Julie because she has, but I never have.
Karen, did you open a gym and sell drugs out of it?
I had a gym, but no, I didn't sell drugs out of it.
How the hell
I was convicted of selling 2 Lortab pens from my home because I also had a maintaining a dwelling charge.
Just
so
like
they
your brother.
Came from my home.
Yep. That's
but
a
no,
Tennessee.
Not at no gym. But yet again, she pulled my record, my conviction record. She should already know this.
That would be the same guy, right? That they're bringing up.
Why?
No, it's not.
I got remarried after that. My first husband passed in 1997,
Gotcha.
and I got remarried in 2003. He would have to publicly correct everything he's ever said before I would even consider it. And then that probably wouldn't be enough, because who attacks their own sister, especially over one of the most vulnerable times in their life, much less everything else that's said and done, and allowed his newfound wife to do? To be honest, I mean, there's days that I have a hard time even breathing. How do you even talk to people? I mean, I have friends, close personal friends, and I struggle to even talk to them about the level of insanity that surrounds the Summer Wells case, much less what my brother is doing directly to me. He has attacked me in ways that I never would have thought, and it has had a profound effect on me. Someone who
for like a year now, right? About a year of this?
No.
Over a year, maybe?
Over a year. About a year and a half since he went to jail. But I mean, it's affected me before that, before he actually brought my name into it, because he was doing, he was talking to Ziggy before that, and he was talking about my sister, and that broke my heart, because I know what he's talking about is lies. He has a very twisted idea of how things happen. He's talked about my dad after he died. He's talked about my mom before she died and after, and all of it in a negative light. he's never had nothing good to say about a whole family that has carried him his whole life in one way or another. I'm sure he'll have something to say. I'll be hit with a whole new line of threats, I guess.
Well, I mean,
I do have a job. I do have a car. I do have a home. I do have everything that I need. I am very blessed. I work myself to death to make sure that it happens. But I'm blessed because God allows me to get up every day and go to work.
I agree.
He allows me to get up every day, wake up, breathing. That's a blessing. Everything I have is a blessing. Am I jealous, Fred and Ziggy? No. There is not one thing in their life, not one aspect that I aspire to have or get a hold of or be. And I hope that my true friends in real life, if I ever act like that they will check my ass real quick. And we did that a lot because Julie has had surgery on her shoulders. She can't lift stuff. She can't raise her arms up, and
right. My grandma was
it hurts her really bad. So
she couldn't. I know, it's like that's horrible.
Yeah, and so there's been many times that I would drive to Julie's and go to town with her to get the groceries, to push the buggy, carry the groceries, get the oxygen tanks and have them filled, take them down there, and I would carry everything in. Julie couldn't do none of that. If she did, it would hurt her so bad that she wouldn't be able to do nothing for days. Fred likes to say that I was not a part of caring for mom and dad. I came down there on a weekly basis before Summer went missing and cleaned mom and dad's house, did their dishes, did their laundry, cleaned the whole house weekly. Wasn't nowhere to be seen, but guess whose mess I was cleaning up? His and Laura's. Because there is no possible way for me to gather 5 big black trash bags a week of junk just thrown everywhere. Every dish in the house would be dirty. That's not mom and dad's doing. Her.
So, Lily, you're right, but you're wrong at the same time. And the only reason I know this is because Elly Mae and I was messaging for quite some time. And Ellie explained it to me. Fred had always accused her, his sister Julie, and mom of stealing he got a lawsuit. The three of them, Julie, the mom, and Fred, were in a car accident together. And they all got a sum of money. And apparently they took Fred's money with the power of attorney, and it was a big fight. So do with that what you will. That's what Elly Mae told me in messages. Okay, the next one is called The Hill Homestead.
Just because he went in the house and took the keys and told Julie who's going to say something about it did not make that his trust.
Right. Yep. They have this idea in their heads, I guess, that they can just take things and say, "Oh, this is mine."
Well, I mean, just like the idea that we had in her head that Fred told her that both of those properties that they were his. To the best of my knowledge, he doesn't have his name on anything. The only thing in his whole entire life that he's ever had his name on was the house that him and his first wife, Tina, got built for them by Habitat for Humanity, and he signed that over to her when they got a divorce. I mean, if I was so estranged, just like.
So what she just said was that his first wife and Fred had gotten a house from Habitat of Humanity, but it was in Fred's name, and Fred turned it over to Tina. So what I want to know is, why did Fred get a house from Habitat of Humanity, and when did he get that house? It had to have been prior to him going to jail, because he was with Tina before Laura. But was that an insurance? Was that a fraud? what's wrong with Fred that he needed a house from Habitat of Humanity when there's so many people out there that don't have a home, and these people have all this land with all these damn trailers on it, that he seemed to live fine in with Laura. What's her name? Gypsy Rose. They lived in a Habitat for Humanity home. Just weird, in my opinion.
With his first wife, and he was having a Habitat for Humanity house built. I drove from Fort Blackmore, Virginia to Sir Tennessee every freaking day. I got up, I drove my children to school, and I drove to Sir And what did I do? I worked on the house every day, helped build his house, cooked for the Habitat for Humanity people to eat, helped clean up. I did that every day for that house I built.
Wow.
Every day.
Thank you for
But I'm an evil sister, and I never did anything for him. I gave him the money to buy his first trailer, or actually his first little camper that him and his first wife were living in. I gave them a trailer, loaned them the money to fix it up. I remember him and his first wife, their place after they got their house built, and I get a phone call from Mom. She's like, "Have you got some free time? Can you come and help?" I said, "What's going on?" "Well, I reckon," she says, "CPS has been called, and they're coming for a home visit tomorrow. Can you come down today and help us get his place cleaned up so he don't lose his oldest daughter?" Where was I at? I was right down there picking up trash, mowing the yard, cleaning the house, washing dishes.
So after they get the Habitat for Humanity home, DCF comes and removes the oldest daughter with the first wife. They were involved, and Karen had to come. So Fred has had DCF in his life since his first wife, not only with Laura. Why is that? And Ziggy has this person around her child. No, Fred gave them power of attorney, Lily, while he was in prison to collect this payment for him. Amongst other things, Fred willingly gave them power of attorney while he went to jail for pewing in his home. But while they had power of attorney, they didn't take care of his finances, he claims, that they had stolen it while they had power of attorney. What is it? No, I'm quick. Okay.
I sure was. But I've never done nothing for him. He had illegally hooked up the power at 207 before Summer ever was missing. I mean, he had been using illegal power. But Mom could afford to keep paying the disconnect notices up there, and it was in her name. And Fred and Laura would not pay the electric bill. So Mom had it disconnected, and he hooked it up illegal. And
turns out he's a bum just like his wife, guys. Turns out.
Yeah. After Dad passed away,
even though Ziggy accused them of doing that first, that they had moved in after Fred and Laura went to jail. They took over the land, was living in the trailers, and that Karen had stolen the electric. So that's a fight between the two.
Julie called and had the power turned off because, we couldn't afford to pay electric bills, and we know Fred wasn't going to pay it. So he illegally hooked the power up there too. And we went down there, the power was illegally hooked up. Well, Julie called back and told them, the power is hooked up illegally again. Can you please come and take care of these two properties? And they came back out and unhooked both properties again and launched an investigation into Fred and Laura because nobody else had been living there. I hadn't been. I don't know how to do such a thing.
Mm-hmm. Is your brother, have you ever seen your brother, and you don't have to tell us what it is or anything like that, have you ever witnessed or known of your brother stealing?
Yes. Well, I knew they got married before
You too?
It was announced.
Right.
Me and Julie, she did her little trip
Are you serious, Marion? I just said a whole ass mouthful too. All right. So Lily, the situation you're talking about is different than Fred's. So when Fred had gone to prison, there was court papers and things to be signed because DCF had taken over his children. And his family, I believe, was trying to get the children. I think they ended up with Laura's family. And he was getting a settlement of $50,000 that wasn't with SSI. Now, when you're in prison, they stop your SSI checks. So they wouldn't have gotten power of attorney over his SSI check because once you're in prison, you're not allowed to get that check anymore, and the prison turns that in. So that couldn't have been it. And I have spoken to Karen Elliott several times, and we have spoken about this. Fred needed to, it was for the children and for that settlement he was getting, that he had given them power of attorney. It wasn't a payee. This is something totally different. It was a little more than a payee. But when he had gotten out of jail, he had made them payee. And I'm talking his first jail stint in Virginia, not when he went to jail for this, what he got picked up for during Summer's case. The rugs. All right. His family has had power of attorney over him for quite some time.
Down Kathy, and she posted that picture of her and Fred standing outside.
No.
And I knew that's a country wedding picture. Me and Julie knew immediately they got married. But I knew what her intentions were long before that. And I knew that's where that was hidden. Julie did too. And I can tell you the precise moment that I knew what her intentions were.
When was it?
Do you remember when she had her little live? Fred was still in jail. And she was having her little meltdown. And she said, those properties belong to Fred. Those are Fred's properties. I'm going to tell everybody right now that if Fred doesn't get everything down there, I will make damn sure that the sisters don't get nothing. That's when Ziggy signed up to be Mrs. Fred Hill. Right there, that moment. You know, I don't know where in their twisted mind they feel that it's okay for him to, him or her, to make a claim on anything. You don't go on a public platform and proclaim to the world that Ronald Fred Hill is not your dad, that Clarence Hill is your dad, and think that you've got a right to anything because you have disinherited yourself. And you did it again, reaffirmed that statement over and over, all the way up to last week. You did it again, Fred. Mm-hmm. You know, the attorney that I spoke with said that is a verbal announcement denouncing his heirship. And they think that I'm digging my grave. I didn't dig no grave. I didn't make no public announcements on no public platform. But they sure did.
You can't denounce. She made such a big deal about this in our messages. You can't denounce your heirship. You have to go get blood tests. That would have to go through court. It would cost so much money. You guys would have to fight that, even if Fred said it. If that makes sense. This was a stupid argument in my opinion, and Karen went way overboard with it. His father, Ronald Fred Hill, that's who's on his birth certificate. But Fred was being a dumbass over there saying, that ain't my dad. There's a guy named Clarence. I'd love to know if there's any truth to that, Fred. I think I missed that live, but I remember in messages Elly Mae was pissed the fuck off about Fred saying that. And I would be too. You know what I mean? But that doesn't disinherit somebody. I don't care what attorney you spoke to. You'd have to go get blood tests. That would be a long, drawn out estate fight.
And it's awful dirty that you publicly denounce being an heir. And at the same time, I have a 7-page police report with video footage of Fred, Kathy, and her son Corey hauling a bunch of stuff off the property that he is not an heir to out of his own mouth, which makes that not a civil situation, but a criminal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware, Fred, that Detective Lunsford has put out a notice to...
That I agree with. I agree with that. Oh, it's okay. I just wanted you to know the difference between what she was talking about. It was a true power of attorney. It was more than just a payee. And she made that clear to me herself. But anyways, shit, I forget what I was going to say. Hold on, let me listen to what she's saying again.
Mm-hmm. Are you aware, Fred, that Detective Lunsford...
Oh, Kathy Gordon. Hauling stuff off. Do you guys remember a few months ago? Well, quite maybe like 7 months ago, somewhere between 7 and 4 months ago, Ziggy had come out and she was stating that Kathy was on auctions and taking shit to pawn shops and all that other shit. And then I just showed you my messages where Elly Mae and I were speaking, and she sent me actual pictures from cameras on their property where they're hauling shit out. Now, Fred and Ziggy said they stole it all, but back then, Fred and Ziggy were saying, nah, that was our stuff. We could take whatever we want. So they gave this shit to Kathy Gordon and then accused Kathy of stealing it after Elly Mae accused them of stealing it. It was a big thing, and it's still a big thing. They still talk about it. Being that Ziggy's over there saying that Kathy stole the shit and put it on auction, and they caught it online on pawn shops and all kinds of other shit. Funny how the tides change.
Has put out a notice to anybody that buys anything, all pawn shops, all used trade people, that if anything on that list, that 7 pages, comes through there, no matter who you send to sell it, it's going to come back to you and Kathy and Corey. And they're waiting. Bet you didn't know that. But wait a minute, did I dig my grave or did you dig yours? I don't see no shovel in my vicinity.
Right. So we get up and go to work.
No, I've got one of these things, and it's weird because I know nobody's ever heard of it before, but it's called a JOB. I've got 2 of them. And that's how I pay my bills. I work my ass off. And I know that's a foreign concept, and it's a dirty word. It's not a dirty 4-letter word. It's a dirty 3-letter word. The worst of the 3.
Oh, shit.
But, also the worst of the 3s with the JOB is a PIG. And we all know about that, right?
What's a PIG? What is it?
Same thing as a VIG. Is that they think they have something...
6 Up, your laugh is so fucking annoying, dude. And you laugh at any little thing that's said. PIG, BIG, so fucking dumb, dude. Why do you suck Karen's ass the way you do?
On me because there is a affidavit of heirship filed with the Register of Deeds to be able to talk to someone at the bank to hopefully save that property, which didn't get done because it still got sold because I didn't get it filed. I got that paper filed the same day it sold.
Right.
But if they did their homework, they'd know that. I've got all the paperwork. It's public record. Get off your ass, quit having your subs do your work for you and actually do something for yourself. Did I sold that property? No, I didn't sell that property. I know who sold the property. I also know who bought the property. I also know how much they paid for the property. Did I get anything on that? No, that's not how that works. And if you wasn't too lazy to call an attorney, Ziggy, you would know that anytime a house is foreclosed on, the bank gets all the proceeds. Nobody gets nothing out of it. Bank.
Oh my God.
So what hole did I dig by filing an affidavit of heirship? Oh, and let me clear something else up with you, since you cannot understand words on a piece of paper. I didn't get my son in trouble by anything that he stated on that, because it clearly stated that, yes, he knew Ronald Frank Hill, because that was his grandfather. Yes, he knew me, because I am his mother. And the only other thing that he stated in there is that he did not want nothing to do with the estate, ever. He had no interest in it. It's all in words there. I know the big words, Ziggy, but you can figure it out. Google is an amazing thing. You can ask Google what those words mean, and it will explain it to you. When Fred and Kathy and Corey were up there was a lot of damage done to that house. And the bank still carried insurance for Dad. And I filed the claims with the insurance to see if it was worth getting fixed. And they sent me 2 cashier checks, Fred. They got Dad's name on them, and I have had them in my hand since the end of last year. Still got them. And I will watch.
So she's telling you she got insurance checks for the dad. Laura states the dad has a will. So is it possible that Karen committed insurance fraud and took Fred's inheritance? Why do you have 2 cashier checks? She's refusing to cash them. There's 2 other siblings. Karen. That's kind of fucked up, don't you think?
My ass and flush it down the snow before you ever get a dime piece. Ever. If I needed that money that bad, I would still have them in my hand now. I've not cashed not one check. I've not done nothing. Not one thing. You know why? I'm not a stupid bitch.
Well,
in order for me to get those cashier's checks reinstated, I would have to probate Dad's estate. And I could technically do that. But if I did probate Dad's estate and include Fred in it, now listen close, Vicky, because you're going to take notes. If I do that, I have to list every item on Dad's property. And that includes all the items on that 7-page police report of things that Fred, your husband, hauled up out of there. And he would have to pay the amount of that back to the estate.
mm-hmm.
He would not come out of that with any money. You would not come out of that with any money. So who did who the favor by not probating Dad's estate?
That's not true, because the probate would go in after. And you still haven't done it, and Dad's been dead since 2022. Fred has a right to his own property, Karen. You would have to have receipts stating that you own the property there, like Julie does for the truck, because the name is now in Julie's name. The truck is now in Julie's name, correct? But you said Fred has the truck now. Even though neither of them have a driver's license. Y'all just be swapping cars and giving cars to illegal drivers, right?
Did I do you a favor? The thing that I was very, very, very confused about is that Fred was telling Ziggy the whole time that he was executor over everything. Well, you know what? You have to file paperwork, Fred. You have to get you an attorney, pay the fee, have an attorney file the paperwork with court.
Yeah.
Because on top of the items that he would have to pay back to the estate, the money value of the item, there's also the fact that he had some notarized IOUs that he owed to Mom and Dad, about $10,000 worth.
You want to guess what that was for? I told you all last night. It was rug money he owned to James Light that he never paid his parents back for. Damn shame. They're not going to take that in court, Karen. You would have to explain why Fred owed the parents $10,000. I don't think that that's what they would want to hear. Mom should have inherited. She did. And then the mom passed away in 2023. Karen Elliott blames Laura for unaliving the mom. This is such a bigger fight than people even tend to realize. And Karen's on her acting like she's innocent, but as you can see, what she's explaining to you is highly illegal. and it's not exactly how the system works. Fred lived on that property when he went to jail. When he came out of jail, he had a right to come home to his own property. What was on that property belonged to him. It wasn't theft. What's theft is you keeping Laura and Fred from their belongings and leaving them with nothing. That's theft. Yeah, the bank was eventually taken, Sheriff, but it was after Fred had gotten out of jail and went back with Ziggy, I believe. I believe it was around the time he had to go stay with Marvin right after the rehab. Well, Moonshine Girl, the parents, in my opinion, it was an operation. I don't know what it was, and Karen could be lying, but that's what Karen said to me. The dad had paid back about $10,000 to James Light, a debt that Fred owed. And then you hear Laura stating it was James Light that killed our horse. David Bays gave us the horse. The poor horse almost died. It used to carry groceries for us. Rest in peace, David Bays. He recently passed away. It's sad. So many.
Well, I think Diddy married him under the illusion that he had a lot to inherit. I think Fred married her under the illusion that he knew he had nothing to inherit and nowhere to go. He had nobody to take care of him, nobody to, I'm sure he'll have something to say. I'll be,
Yeah, but not through the family. The bank took it. He had the bank money. Now, I believe it was also part of Morlock Farms or some kind of family trust. So it would have been folded back in. It was probably another family member or somebody in the area that bought it. I haven't looked. I have been absolutely refusing to look into any of that because all that does is get me in fucking trouble. I'd rather talk about what I know already and what these people have said. If I do need to research something one day, I will when I have time to sit down. My life's been chaotic. You guys have all been watching it unfold. Yeah, she said that they took it because they owed the money. We can go back and listen a few minutes if you want, but she said that the bank took it. There was money owed. It sounds to me like there was an unpaid mortgage and the bank took it. Here, we'll go back. I don't know how long ago she said it. Let's see, what do we got left? We'll go to like 8 minutes.
and Corey were up there. There was a lot of damage done to that house. And the bank still carried insurance for Dad. And I filed the claims with the insurance to see if it was worth getting fixed. And they sent me 2 cashier checks for it. They got Dad's name on them. And I have had them in my hand since the end of last year. Still got them. And I will wipe my ass and flush it down the smoke before you ever get a dime piece. Ever. If I needed that money that bad, I would still have them in my hand now. I've not cashed not one check. I've not done nothing. Not one thing. You know why? I'm not a stupid bitch.
Well,
in order for me to get those cashier's checks reinstated, I would have to probate that estate. And I could technically do that. But if I did probate that estate and include Fred in it, now listen close, Vicky, because you're going to take notes. If I do that, I have to list every item on Dad's property. And that includes all the items on that 7-page police report of things that Fred, your husband, hauled up out of there.
But they lost the estate to the bank. Karen, you're holding insurance money that belongs to two other siblings that you ruined. They could get you in trouble for that and force your hand. In my opinion, I think that's what you would be able to do. You can't collect insurance money and refuse to. You just said, before I cash those checks, I'll take them to the commode and flush them. Now, in order for me to get them checks reinstated, I would have to probate. No, that ain't true. All you have to do is call the fucking insurance company. Hold on. Lock the door. Look, he's mad. Grandbaby wants in. Can you get on and get his dad?
Yeah.
Anyways, they lost their estate. That estate no longer belonged to them. The insurance is something totally different than the estate. You got him? He followed his brother up to the bathroom. Yeah. One was a life insurance payout, and one is the estate. They're both totally different. So she's trying to feed people some bullshit here, in my opinion.
And he would have to pay the amount of that back to the estate.
Mm-hmm.
He would not come out of that with any money. You would not come out of that with any money. So who did who the favor by not probating that estate?
Mm.
Did I do you a favor? The thing that I could very, very, very confused about is that Fred was telling Ziggy the whole time that he was executor over everything. Well, you know what? You have to file paperwork, Fred. You have to get you an attorney, pay the fees, have an attorney file the paperwork with a court.
Yeah.
Because on top of the items that he would have to pay back to the estate, the money value of the item, there's also the fact that he had some notarized IOUs that he owed to Mom and Dad, about $10,000 worth. Well, I think Diddy married him under the illusion that he had a lot to inherit. I think Fred married her under the illusion that he knew he had nothing to inherit and nowhere to go. He had nobody to take care of him, nobody to. I'm sure he'll have something to say. I'll be hit with a whole new line of breath, I guess.
Well, I mean,
I do have a job. I do have a car. I do have a home. I do have everything that I need. I am very blessed. I work myself to death to make sure that it happens. But I'm blessed because God allows me to get up every day and go to work.
I agree.
He allows me to get up every day, wake up, breathing, that's a blessing. Everything I have is a blessing. Am I jealous of Fred and Ziggy? No. There is not one thing in their life, not one aspect that I desire to have or get a hold of or be. And I hope that my true friends in real life, if I ever act like that they will check my ass real quick. I just want to tell Fred that I hope that he can keep up with his recovery. I wish him the best in that. And I want him to know that I'm proud of him, that he is in recovery. And I hope he stays that way. And I hope he makes the choice to get away from the people, places, and things that will trigger him. I hope he finds something that really does make him happy and makes his eyes shine again. I hope he can stand on his 2 feet by himself and be proud of himself. I love you, Fred. Regardless of everything that you have said about me, you know I love you. You know I've always been there for you. You know I've always helped you. And it really does break my heart that me telling you no and me trying to handle family business when you had 2 years to handle it and did nothing, and then you persecute me for that. That breaks my heart that you can let someone lead you around by the nose and do that to your own family that has been good to you. But I do love you. You've burned a lot of bridges, but I do still love you. And as for Ziggy, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but I know who the fuck you ain't. And you found the right bitch. I promise you. Clear and simple. I don't know who has them. All I know is that
I don't even think they exist. I've always personally thought, and I'm not trying to like cut you off, but I personally always thought they don't exist. It's just something that he made up, and that's my opinion. But
I don't know if they exist or not because I don't have them. And I do know that when he went to jail, me and Julie went down there, and we went to Dad's place at 165, and then we rode to Mom's place at 207 and looked in the camper door. And me and Julie both clearly seen a TV monitor that had a picture of the camper. So there was a camera somewhere. When we came back 5 days later, when Laura was supposed to be gone, she was there with that man Pete. And he had a trailer hooked to his vehicle, and she had it loaded up with all kinds of stuff and had made several calls out of there. We rode up that she was at their house at that time at 165. When we pulled up, they were still sitting there, getting ready to pull out again. And after they left, me and Julie rode up to 207, and that stuff was gone. There's a lot of stuff gone. So I don't know where the SD cards are, but my guess would be law enforcement or Laura.
Well, I mean, they claim that he claims that law enforcement has it. So
the only camera, exactly, when after Fred went to jail.
So she's stating that before Fred went to jail after Summer went missing, that her and Julie was sent up by Mom to check on Fred. And when they got to Fred's house, there was a monitor that was monitoring cameras. And then she came back after Fred went to jail and the monitor system was missing. Now, I don't know if it's in one of these videos. It should be. I think we should hear later on where she says the police came in and ransacked Fred's home prior to Fred going to jail. So did the police take the cameras? She's saying she don't know where the SD cards are. And there's a little more. This is a short video here.
And me and Julie went to 207 and poked our heads in the door of the camper. There was a TV monitor, and the picture on it was coming from a camera feed that appeared to be pointed directly at the camper, not at the road, but directly at the camper. So I don't see how that would even see anybody driving by. So other than that, I don't know of any other cameras. I have no SD cards. If there was any equipment hauled out there, I would probably check with Laura if I was them, because she had Pete up there helping her haul all that stuff out of there. And when she left hauling the last load that I know of, that Julie knows of, that monitor was gone. Laura went to jail after she had Pete help her haul a bunch of stuff out of there. Then Laura went to jail. She was in jail for about a month. And
so now, wait a minute. I missed this part. Pete Clark, who's now dead, helped Laura take the cameras out of the house.
And as soon as she got out of jail, I had went to 207, and she pulled up in a van with 3 other people. She got out and said that she had forgot something. She went inside the camper and was in there for about 10, 15 minutes. She came out with a backpack, and in her arms, she had like manila folders with papers in them. And then it seemed like she was carrying something else. And
so this is Elly Mae telling you they made Laura leave. Laura gets out of jail and she's not allowed to come back to her home because the sisters and nephews are there bullying Laura, telling Laura, get the fuck out.
I asked her, I said, did you get everything that you needed? And she came out of her mouth with something slick, something about, you think you own this place? You think you run this place? Just running her mouth. And it was on like Donkey Kong. I said, bitch, you got the right one today. And she took off running down the driveway, and jumped in that van yelling, go, 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 go. And that's the last time I seen her. So I don't know what she went in there and got, Fred. She forgot something. Well, Mom and Dad had cameras in their house that were attached on the corner of their house that they could see the road. It was coming in and out. They did not record whatever they were seeing. They just had monitors, actually 2 monitors in their house, one for each camera. That's the only cameras that I know of.
This is an important one.
The only thing that I know about that is about 5 days after Summer went missing, I had went with Julie to get Mom and Dad's groceries, to get Mom's oxygen tank filled, and we had went to pick her prescriptions up and took them down to Dad's place at 155. And Mom asked me and Julie both to ride up to 207 where Fred was staying in her camper and to pick up her mail and to check on Fred. Well, we did, and Fred came out into the driveway, and we were asking him how if he was okay. So we were just up there to pick up Mom's mail, and he was talking about how he felt he was being set up. He said something about he found some little girl's clothes in a washing machine on the property, and that somebody had put a backpack at the top of the driveway that had meth-making materials in them. That's all he said, and we had.
Now, I've gone over this one a couple times. First red flag. Fred states there was little girl's clothes. Somebody was trying to set him up. There was little girl's clothes in a washing machine at his home, and a backpack on his driveway with meth-making materials. When?
Asked him, well, did you tell TBI? And the best I can remember, I believe he said yeah. So that's all I know about that. But I wasn't by myself. That was me and Julie standing there listening to him. Well, I don't know what all they did on the hill. I know after Fred went to jail, I had the package and stuff up. I found a few things, and I called the sheriff's office to have them come out and look at it. And they kind of giggled like they already knew something. And mind you, when we came down in January of 23.
I had found a few things and had called the sheriff's office. It seems they already knew a few things. It seems Ziggy had come down in January of 2023.
She was on that property. But what I found tied up and hid away was a lingerie top and some stockings. And, it concerned me because that was around the same time that Layla had been missing. And I knew Fred.
It's odd she says that because no, it wasn't. She said January of 2023, she tried to pin something on Ziggy. Layla Santinello missing. Kingsport, Tennessee. Layla went missing in June. Why is Karen saying that Layla's clothes is in her house in January, months prior to Layla going missing? Sorry, I forgot to share. Missing since June 27th, 2023. I've been saying to you, Karen says she didn't work there when Layla went missing, but I had a phone call where an employee there told me that she did. That she was fired after Layla had gone missing. I don't know if there's truth to that. But Karen worked at the hotel Layla went missing from. There's also a guy from up here in Pittsburgh that could connect the We Can Bring You Hope people from the town I'm from that posted on his Facebook, you know how you put your location, that he was in Kingsport that day. I've said his name several times, however, I'm not going to keep doing that because I love his kids. You could go back through my content. It's been turned into the right authorities. If there's anything to it, they'll find something. But why is she mentioning Layla at all? Who went missing from a hotel she worked at. And she tried to place it when Ziggy was there in January, but this little girl went missing. This young lady. This young mother goes missing from a hotel we 100% know she's familiar with. That doesn't have a good name. I was speaking before my Facebook got taken because, you know, I took my husband's Facebook. I had to. But I was speaking to Layla's mother, and Layla's mom had no clue that Fred Hill's sister said this, and she was frantic when she heard it. I'm pretty sure she also turned that into the TBI. Please know I'm still praying for you and your daughter, and for a safe return and for answers. I do think there's a huge possibility Layla and Summer connect. And I think it's within this family. That's why I say ring. And it's based off of this bitch's words.
Tied up and hid away was a lingerie top and some stockings. And, you know, it concerned me because that was just, that was around the same time that Layla had been missing. And I knew Fred was in jail, and I thought, oh my gosh, somebody has stashed something here. I mean, you know, you don't know what to think. So I called Low, and I recorded it, and I came out and looked at it, and I missed it all. That's just where Fred was having a little side action, and he just didn't want Laura to know about it. So, you know, considering I know it wasn't Laura's clothes, I don't know whose it was, but I do know Ziggy was on that property. Mom was in the hospital at the time, and how I know Ziggy was there is because when the ambulance was called for Mom, Julie actually convinced Laura to ride to the hospital with her and help her with Mom. But when Laura got to the hospital, she stayed down in the lobby, or she was there for just a few minutes, and she said, "Oh, I got a ride, I'm going." Guess who picked her up from the hospital? And Laura would be stayed help with Mom. Ziggy picked her up.
What?
Yes, Ziggy picked her up. And while Mom was in the hospital, Ziggy was on 165 Ben Hill Road.
Damn, Ziggy.
And when Mom got out of the hospital, actually, the day before Mom got to come home, Julie had went down to the house to get Mom some clothes to come home in, and she went in the house, and obviously the doors had been broken into. Somebody had been in the house, which that was Fred, because Julie had cameras in Mom's in the house to help keep an eye on Mom, and she had already seen Fred on the cameras and stuff. But you know, the cameras had an ability to be cut off from time to time and then be cut back on. So somebody down there had to be doing it. But she found a little girl's white shirt in Mom's bathroom, and there was mud everywhere. A shirt that she had never seen before. Looked like something that a child would wear.
Wow.
And, you know, I mean, that was in January. Fred goes to jail in June, and there was clothes hid.
Now a little girl's white shirt is also found at another time. Lingerie belonging to Layla Santinella while Ziggy was there. And a little girl's muddy, wet, white shirt. All found in this elderly woman's home who's on her deathbed. No kids around.
In a bag. They were tied up in a bag and stuck down in a box, a Mountain Dew box. And the Mountain Dew box was stuck back in a burn barrel, and the door was shut on it.
Oh, man.
And the cops from Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, well, the detectives is the one that came out. There was 4 of them.
Before he went to jail, TD. That was before he went to jail. Yeah. Sorry.
And I found that the clothes after he went to jail, thinking, Fred's in jail. Who could have put these here? Okay, well, the cops, after, having questioned Fred over a lot of things, the cops just all laughed and looked at each other and laughed, and one just kind of looked at me and snickered and said, I think it's okay. That's something Fred was probably having a little side action, and it ain't nothing to worry about. I said, oh, okay, well, cool, good. At least it ain't got nothing to do with a missing girl. Clothes that were found were soaking wet. So no, they looked like they had been washed, they were soaking wet and put in the bag and tied up. No, they didn't have the lingerie and the stockings didn't have mud on them. Clothes that were found were soaking.
Go ahead, you can tell.
There was a white shirt, and I don't think it was a t-shirt. I actually think it was like t-shirt material that was long sleeve. But that was a child's shirt, not a small child, but it was a size small.
Right.
And then the other clothes that was found was adult clothes. It was lingerie and stockings. No, I don't. What I know is the statement that Julie gave to TBI, and that was that she had came to Dad at 165, 10, 15 minutes before 3. She had been working on her lawnmower and needed to borrow Mom's little toolbox, and she was there just long enough to grab that toolbox, and she said she left about 3 or 3:05. And when she came in and when she left, there was nobody.
That's not what she said to me, and that's not what she said in my chat. Her story changed. This is why I say this bitch is a fucking much as a liar as fucking Fred. She told me Julie was there taking care of Mom, making Mom lunch. Who was in my chat when we spoke about it?
Loading a vehicle. She did not see Fred. She met a white truck when she came back out and had to back all the way up to Dad's driveway to let him in the holler. And when she got down to Andy's property, there was a blue, I think it was a blue Blazer sitting there, and the back hatch was raised, and there was a skinny man standing there with a ball cap that was putting something in the back of that Blazer that he would not turn.
That was the guy she tried to tell me was James Skelton. She tried to say that guy looked like Scott, which was James Skelton, but Scott was not James Skelton, but that guy looked just like James Skelton, and she said it right after Ziggy did. No one else in Ben Hill ever mentioned this young guy with a ball cap that looked like James Skelton, the pedo on the Megan's Law list that I'm accusing of being Scott H. But she's going to collab with something Fred said to me in Messenger that Ziggy went absolutely fucking apeshit over, right? Who else ever seen or heard anybody say anything about a tall, skinny white guy with a ball cap? Helping Dobbs put something into the back of the truck. But trust Elly Mae. She'll lie for Fred.
Turn around and look at her. And she said, he was sort of, at first she thought it might have been Fred. But then she said it wasn't Fred, but he had the same kind of build as Fred. And she reported that to the TBI also. But there was no vehicle being loaded up or hauled off or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Andy being on the road, what I know is that I spoke to the lady that lived at the end of the holler, Blue Roof Don's wife, and she told me that Andy came in when he said he did. That, as a matter of fact, she spoke to Andy when he came in. The road was blocked, and she actually asked one of the officers to move their vehicle so he could come on in, and that officer spoke to him. I was at work. I got a phone call from Julie, actually a text message of Julie telling me what was going on, and then that was on the way home. And then after I got home, I called Julie and was asking if they had found her. Because I mean, I was hoping, well, she just wandered off and they found her by now. And no, they hadn't found her.
But wait, Julie was in and out. So how did you tell? Why are you calling Julie to find out if they found her? One, if Julie ain't there and can't get in because the road's blocked. And two, why did you tell me that Julie was there when the guide wire on the telephone pole went down? Why are you switching stories? And even though fuck Kirst, but Kirst was in my chat when she said it. Fuck Lady R, but Lady R was in my chat when she said it. Andy Bernard was in my chat when she said it. So then she goes to 6UPs to fix her shit. And 6UP strikes me because I share it. Is that because Elly Mae... Hi, Kylie. Is that because Elly Mae was caught in her fucking lies, Karen Elliott? Hi, cuz. In-law. In-law. Because you married an Elliott, right? I haven't really dug to find out which one, but maybe I will one day. Maybe I'll do that little bit of research. That's right. That Elliott side is related to Jody Sue. Maybe Jody Sue will tell us one day. Hey, Selena, did you see me say hi to you? I missed you when you came in. I was a little late. Sorry. Forgive me. But this is pretty interesting, huh? Karen Elliott's so trustworthy. She don't lie.
They weren't letting anybody in and out of that holler. Even Julie going down there to take mom and dad's medicine and food to them because mom and dad couldn't sit for themselves. They had to, Julie would take food to them and have to take the medicine and get mom's oxygen tanks refilled and stuff like that. So Julie was going down there back and forth. I think the first time I went down there with Julie after Summer had went missing was about 5 days. That was the day that mom had sent me and her up to check on Fred, to get her mail and check on Fred.
No, Kylie, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think that they all know what happened this summer. And I think they all cover for each other. That's what I'm saying. I think the fights are fake, and I think it was to cover shit Ziggy said. I think Karen's been out here since the beginning under many, what does Jody Sue call them? Raincoats. I think we hear about people seeing a blue minivan, and that's what, according to Jody, Julie's daughter was driving that day while she spent the afternoon, according to Karen in my chat, where many people seen it, with her parents while a guide wire went down and the tree cutters had to run over and fix it. on a telephone pole. Now, the electric didn't go out, but we did hear the tree cutters collaborate. Something happened right on Ziggy when she interviewed them. Karen Elliott told me around 2:30. So that places her sister there at least an hour. And then she calls her sister later that evening to see if Summer was found. Well, how would Julie know that if Julie wasn't still in the area, number one? But that doesn't mean she took Summer if she's still in the area. But does she know what happened? Did she help cover something up? Or are they all covering for Julie or her daughter? It's lanes. There was more in the holler. And you hear Dolly say, Fred's the only one that's related to those people. No. Were they just searched? Van Hill, no. Dolly. I think Jody Sue and Karen and Julie were friends, yes. I think Jody Sue is very fond of Julie and her daughter because Jody went to bat for them against me. Let's also remember Jody told Andy in a text message that she was woken about 2:30, 2:40, somewhere around there within that 10-minute time period. Yeah. Well, the Crawfords would be related to these people. Jody Sue Dolly has admitted to being related to those people right after the search, and then she said, I am not going to talk about them. Karen Elliott would be related to those people. Julie Hill would be related to those people. I've heard some other odd names in the area that are related to those people. I can't remember what they are right at the moment, but they were names that weren't normal names connected to Andy and Fred. Those people had a lot of relatives. Those people allowed people on their land freely all the time. They ran a farm, a working farm. They gave people food and favors for change that they would pay back later. Everybody had access to that land. It wasn't just Fred Dolly. I'm waiting for the rest. Not to mention, I found something that connected a Leslie Hill. I don't know if it's the same Leslie Hill that was friends with Allie. I shared it on my community. Listen and you learn more from. That's right. I agree with that, Pam.
Yeah, I was in Julie's vehicle. I was in the front seat. No, I wasn't hiding. And the reason I was riding with Julie is because I have to pass Julie's house to get to Mom and Dad's house. And Julie already had groceries in her vehicle. And I had stopped and picked up something for Mom and Dad on the way. So I stopped at Julie's, threw my stuff in her vehicle, and we went to Mom and Dad.
No. Hold on. No. I know guys from up here in Pittsburgh, but I don't think there would be any relation. Hope not. God, you never fucking know. I never heard the name Guy being passed around. Okay, close. Found the 15th. We got 2 more videos. They're both 3 minutes long. This one's about cotton, and then the last one is about Chad Arnold being at the funeral.
when I heard that story, the first thing that popped in my head was Cotton Simpson and blunt force trauma, and a polygraph test that said that Fred had knowledge of a crime scene that had not been made public. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, common sense would tell you that if somebody hit somebody up in the head with something of that caliber, with that kind of force, they wouldn't have got up. They would have still been laying there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, that reminds me of, the story that around the same time he had went to Julie's and told Julie that he wanted to pay me for gas money because his wallet was in the woods, because he had to pick off running because he thought that there was a bunch of DEA agents or DPS agents in the woods, and he thought they were getting busted because they were being surrounded, and he took off running, and he didn't have his wallet because he had to hide it, and that's where his money was at. If she could just leave him a little bit of money for gas, that as soon as the coast was clear, he would get his wallet and pay her back. I mean, that's the elaborate stuff that we heard all the time, that we just brushed off as nothing. You know what bothered me about the whole Cotton situation? But long before the polygraph and all that, I remember Mom and Julie both telling me that Laura was in the house with them, using the Wi-Fi, was on the phone, and started freaking out, having an anxiety attack, crying. I mean, to the point of, not being on the face, crying, panic attack, saying, "Oh my God, they found him dead, they found him dead." And she was talking about Cotton Simpson and runs out the door to tell Fred. Now, how do you have that sort of reaction to a man being found dead that you don't know? That has always, I mean, that's a question in the back of my mind. How do you
Laura's reaction the day Cotton was found dead was, "Oh my God, they found him dead. They found him dead. I gotta tell Fred," running out of the house. Way before they accused him of being the one that took Summer. Way before Fred went to jail. Laura had a ghost-like reaction, is what Karen told me. This is one of the last names involved in Sebastian's. Mom is a guy from Pittsburgh. Please don't tell me that. Last thing I need to hear is that. Do you know which part of Pittsburgh? I'm so done with these Pittsburgh connections to this Tennessee shit. I've been fighting so bad. I'm trolling the shit out of my ex-brother-in-law's girlfriend, who's, I think, was running drugs down to Tennessee and Virginia and all kinds of shit. When my friend told me he was poisoned, well, he was in 2 hospitals begging me to ask the nurses to check him when they went, and then he comes back and mysteriously dies of an overdose. It's so fucking weird. I think he ran into Karen Elliott somewhere or knows her, because Karen got real strange with me after I brought his face out. That's my friend Chester. I'll fight till the death of me to find out who the fuck it was down south that he was telling me about. And my friend Lisa. And they all connect to the We Can Bring You Hope people from the little small town. Sorry, my husband got a cough.
Sorry.
You're okay. You all right over there?
Yeah.
Do you want to come say hi?
You
gotta come over here. They can't hear you.
Huh?
They can't hear you all the way over
Hello. Hi.
there. He said, hello, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Say hello.
Boom, babe. They're pulling a Broken Bad, if you know what I mean. Breaking Bad, yeah. No, she's Bower Socks. I'll have to look into it. Do you know what her mom's first name is? Or dad's? Oh, boy. That would be something. Okay.
you have that visceral reaction to somebody that I don't know, and what I've seen of them, they're creeps. He's a creep, but yet you have that type of visceral reaction to the news that he had been found.
Curiosity said she just got here, but Fred said he was being questioned for 2 murders when he was pulled in and questioned about cotton. Do you know who the other murderer may have been?
I do not know. I heard that on one of Ziggy's lives. Someone had clipped that and sent that to me and asked me the same thing then, and I do not know. Well, I believe that statement though about him and another man following, because when Ziggy was trying to hook Ryan up to talk to Fred was messaging Ryan, and on one of Ryan's episodes, he posted a screenshot of Fred talking about the person that was with him, and the screenshot said, "Please clear our name. Please help clear our name."
I got that screenshot too.
And that was from Fred, so I do believe
that. Help clear our name. He was raised in the area and swim in the swimming holes. And he knows where the caves are, and he can be a lot of help to you, I promise.
That's the screenshot that Ryan posted on one of his lives, yeah.
This is the first time Arnold and Peg also. Yeah, I don't know any of them names. I just know Guy, and they're not Jewish. Okay. Anyway, so I feel like this is the first time. When did that Snap girl go missing? Holly Lynn Snap went missing. Holland, I think is how you say her name. October 5th. Wait. Let me see. October 5th, 2023. Holland went missing. It's Holland. Her story's odd too. I can't remember it. There was a party or something involved. Abuse of men. Anyways, okay. So this next and last video I have to show tonight is when this is the first time and only time I feel we get to hear something from Chad Arnold's voice. It's small, but it's deep. And it's what they're doing. It's while they're burying Mom. Now, some other things Karen Elliott told me was that Fred did not show up to the mom's funeral, and that he had sent Chad instead of him being there. That he would not go to his mother's funeral. But if I remember correctly, it's possible that Fred was in jail at the time of the funeral. I have to go back and look. So that also doesn't make sense to me if he was. Okay, because there's nothing on her either. Yeah. I'm almost positive Fred was in jail and when his mom died, but I could be wrong. I could be. Don't quote me on that. If you guys want to look it up, look it up. But I do know that Karen did absolutely tell me that Fred sent his friends in place of him, and that I think Jamie Clark's might have been one of them. I can't remember, and I don't have the fucking text messages. I gotta find them. There's some on my wall from 2 years ago. I have to scroll a long way. But yeah, this is the first time we get to hear some words from Chad Arnold. even though not directly from him. They're from Fred's sister.
We were there for the
Fred,
funeral.
is that the one that Fred was not there for, right?
Correct. We kept waiting. We kept kind of holding off on starting the service, thinking, Fred will be here in a minute. We were waiting, and here comes Chad's truck up to the cemetery, and he has a friend with him, and he tells someone that Fred wasn't coming, that he was sent by Fred to be there on his behalf. So we proceeded with the funeral. The service was over, and Mom didn't have insurance, so we had to do everything as cheap as possible, which meant we didn't have nobody to fill in the grave if we didn't do it. So there was a whole group of us, family and everybody, and Chad was also one of those that was. He said Fred wanted him to help with that. So he didn't say nothing to nobody the whole time. It took 2 hours to fill Mom's grave in, and then there was I get a dirt left over, and he said, y'all can load that up in my truck, and I'll go and put it on my driveway, and that'll get rid of some of it. And we said, oh, okay. So we all pitched in and loaded the back of his truck up with dirt, and we had got to the point where we couldn't load his truck up no more. We couldn't do nothing else, so we called it a wrap, and he went and got in his truck and shut the door, and he looked out his window. He said, well, and this is the first time he actually talked during the whole time that he was there. He said, well, Karen, what do you think about the whole Summer Wells thing? And I said, well, I see what I see on YouTube, and it's a whole crap show as far as that's concerned. I said, but as far as Summer Wells, I said, I don't know what to think. I think that when the truth comes out, it will probably devastate a whole community, because it's just unbelievable. And I don't know if it was just a poor choice of words. I mean, he didn't offer condolences over Mom passing away, nothing. He asked about Summer Wells and what I thought about it, and his response was that every time somebody goes missing around here, no, that's not what he said. Every time somebody around here gets murdered, I'm the first one they talk to.
What?
And I just kind of stood there and looked at him. I just kind of stood there and looked at him. I'm like, well, first of all, she's a missing little girl. Nobody has said she's been murdered. And I'm at my mother's funeral, and you're not even offering condolences, but this is what is on your mind.
Every time somebody gets hurt, I'm the first one they come talk to. So that's telling us that Chad Arnold did talk to the police, and he was one of the first ones to talk. And that the police know Chad Arnold was on the street the day Summer went missing. And Chad Arnold might just be very smart, and it might be smart that he's not out here because it's a defense. He's not stupid like Fred, where Fred puts everything out where they could use against him in court. If that makes any sense. That's a short video. It's almost over, but we'll play it again before I go.
We were there for the
Fred,
funeral.
is that the one that Fred was not there for, right?
Correct. We kept waiting. We kept kind of holding off on starting the service, thinking, Fred will be here in a minute. We were waiting, and here comes Chad's truck up to the cemetery, and he has a friend with him, and he tells someone that Fred wasn't coming, that he was sent by Fred to be there on his behalf. So we proceeded with the funeral. The service was over, and Mom didn't have insurance, so we had to do everything as cheap as possible, which meant we didn't have nobody to fill in the grave if we didn't do it.
Mom didn't have insurance, so we had to do everything as cheap as possible. But I have Dad's 2 insurance checks that I'm going to flush down the toilet. You're a granddaughter. You get the Daughter of the Year reward.
So there was a whole group of us, family and everybody, and Chad was also one of those that was. He said Fred wanted him to help with that. So He didn't say nothing to nobody the whole time. It took 2 hours to fill Mom's grave in, and then there was I get a dirt left over, and he said, y'all can load that up in my truck, and I'll go and put it on my driveway, and that'll get rid of some of it. And we said, oh, okay. So we all pitched in and loaded the back of his truck up with dirt, and we had got to the point where we couldn't load his truck up no more. We couldn't do nothing else, so we called it a wrap, and he went and got in his truck and shut the door, and he looked out his window. He said, well, and this is the first time he actually talked during the whole time that he was there. He said, well, Karen, what do you think about the whole Summer Wells thing? And I said, well, I see what I see on YouTube, and it's a whole crap show as far as that's concerned. I said, but as far as Summer Wells, I said, I don't know what to think. I think that when the truth comes out, it will probably devastate the whole community because it's just unbelievable. And I don't know if it was just a poor choice of words. I mean, he didn't offer condolences over Mom passing away. Nothing. He asked about Summer Wells and what I thought about it. And his response was that every time somebody goes missing around here, no, that's not what he said. Every time somebody around here gets murdered, I'm the first one they talk to.
What?
I just kind of stood there and looked at him. I just kind of stood there and looked at him. I'm like, well, first of all, she's a missing little girl. Nobody has said she's been murdered. And I'm at my mother's funeral, and you're not even offering condolences. But this is what is on your mind.
To me,
and I
you
just
guys,
stood there looking at him, and there was nothing else said. He cranks up, and he pulls out. And I was just standing there dumbfounded. And there was others beside me that were just as dumbfounded. We had known Fred for years, and I'm sure he had been at Mom and Dad's, and to Fred or whatever. Did he ever come just to see Mom and Dad? I wouldn't think so.
Right. He probably just come hang out with Fred, whatever.
I mean, there's a difference between knowing somebody and knowing of somebody, and
anyways, that's my content for tonight. I told you guys last night I'd go over that. I'm going to go private those again because for some reason 6up doesn't want me to have them the fuck out. However, I am going to share them in this live. If she wants to fucking strike me, dead bitch. You have now shared my content. This is information Karen Elliott said. It's pertinent to the case. Like you say so many times, people have a right to commentate on things Ziggy and Fred said and things people said. It goes the opposite way as well. There's a lot of discrepancies with Karen, just like with Fred. The one I pulled out not a lot, but I said a lot about was the skinny guy with the ball cap. She ran with it, just like Fred did. I don't believe anybody's seen a skinny guy with the ball cap. That's my opinion. All right, guys. Pez amore, peace and love. I'll see you all at some point tomorrow. You all have a good night. Bye.